Praveen, did you do go? Okay, thanks. Okay, so hello and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the planet Mars and this really amazing world record attempt. And we're going to start. We are going to start in next few minutes. All right. So welcome everyone. So we're going to start in just few minutes. All right. So just allow us some time. We have a very exciting day ahead of us, where we are exploring about planet Mars. So just we're going to wait for just 2 minutes more, and we're going to start. Okay. So what are we going to do today? What are we going to explore? In this 1 hour session that we have, we are definitely exploring the planet Mars. We're understanding about its surface. We're going to visit a planet Mars. We're going to see how it looks like in real time as well. And along with that, we'll see and understand the atmospheric condition, how the planet Mars behaves, what amount of gravity it has, and if we want to go and explore, can we go there? But before we start the main event, let me give you a little premise. Why do we think that we just have to focus a lot on a planet Mars right now? The reason being is, if you know, in 1969, we landed on a moon, right? And that started one of the biggest space revolution. It changed the entire, the space innovations. We created our rockets, we stepped on the moon, then we created International Space Station. So it was one big giant leap, as the Neil Armstrong said. And absolutely right. Today, I say, if a lot of you have seen that video, I told that, right? So planet Mars is again one more opportunity. It's one more biggest giant leap for us as a human mankind. Because, if you look at the Mars Pass right now, we see it's a dead planet, right? But there is a lot to explore on that. And it's a very important thing. Whatever you're going to do and learn right now, it will be a part of quiz. So I hope whoever is attending, you are going to take the acts also. One more very interesting thing and surprise I have for all of you is we have a very interesting personality today that I'm going to introduce you a little later. His name is Dr. Mukund, and he's going to come at close to the end of the session. He's a very famous astronomer, so we're going to introduce him as well. So just allow just 2 minutes, stay there, and we're going to start. All right. Why? Okay, what's the number? Okay, so we have Mr. Dr. Mukund, as I was saying to you earlier. All right, so he has worked with IUCA also, Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, where he spent almost 10 years of his time, and he's been working in this physics astronomy field in last 3 decades. He has a very strong experience of it, so you'll have an opportunity to hear from him as well. For the fact that he is one of my mentors, so I have closely worked with him as well. He and I, so he's a principal investigator of one of the project where we proposed to do the first ever small telescope observation of a variable star from Antarctica region. So he's going to be also there. So we are also excited to have him. So we're going to start in next few minutes. All right. So just give me just 1 minute. We're going to start about it. Then again, what are we going to talk more in this part of it? So one, yes, definitely the planet Mars. Two is understanding the entire physical characteristics of it. And one of the very important part, because see, whenever we start the mission, all right, any space mission, there are four very important steps as we discussed. The first very important step that we have is the mission, understanding. We have to understand mission, any mission, before we do it at all. Okay. So before we go, even on a vacation, we find each and every detail, like where we're going to stay, what we're going to do, what are we going to eat. So all of this information we find out, and then we go and book a vacation stay. Similar thing is going to happen with our entire Mars and whatever future plan we plan with the Mars, right? So we have to understand, we have to do a scientific study before we even go there. All right. So we have to find all the scientific study before we go there. So how do we do that, all the scientific study? We are all aware of all the robotics mission that we are doing there, all the robots we are sending, all the satellites we are sending there to explore, right? So all of that's going to help us understand, because right now sending humans on a, you'll understand, right, what kind of atmosphere is, and we're going to have a lot of challenges and quiz and questions about it. So you have to understand carefully, you have to make a notes of it very importantly, right? So yeah, so all of these robotic explorations, all the satellites mission, the India has also launched, UAE also has launched, US has also launched. It's a global effort, because planet Mars is not an easy task, right? So all the global industry leaders has to collaborate, come together to kind of explore the planet Mars and take this giant leap. So if you would ask me, sir, like, how do you redefine this? How this is different from we exploring the moon? How the planet Mars is quite different? The reason is planet Mars is different because this is not going to happen just by one person or one nation taking that call. This is going to bring a multidisciplinary people together on one platform. This is going to take cross-cultural efforts, okay, cross-technological efforts to bring all the humanity on one ground to take off us towards the planet Mars. All right. So being said that, all right. So being said that, let me just wait for just 60 more seconds, and then we'll start exploring the planet Mars. All right. So just give me 60 more seconds, and we'll start doing that. Okay, so let's start with this event. So before we actually get to the actual exploration of the planet Mars, I'm going to request Dr. Kutarika sir to please come and have a talk with our student for 4 to 5 minutes, and then give you an inspirational words. So sir, if you can start your camera, all right, so I'll let you know exactly, sir, when to talk about. So let me talk to you again a little bit about Kutarika sir. He's one of my mentor. He has worked with the earlier people to talk about. He's one of the one who founded like a lot of astronomical societies. He worked very closely related with it. He's worked with one of the very very important people such as Dr. Jayant Narikar, who is one of the person who set the foundation for astronomy in India. So sir, all of the students are really waiting to hear your words. So sir, over to you, please. You can take over and talk.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. You are live, so you can talk.
I would address the budding students as planetary and space citizens of tomorrow. And in that fashion, I will address them and I will proceed my talk. Hello, it's my pleasure to be a part of the budding gathering for thinking about the Mars colonization. Your generation, it is really lucky to witness the horizons of planetary and space exploration and enjoy the status of planetary and space citizenship. You are a space citizen of future. However, However, you are able to do this by standing on the shoulders of the ancient and historic individuals as well as institutional explorers, including the astronauts and the rocket boys and girls from all over the world, with Humason on one end and Elon Musk on the other end. Humason, you are aware that he was assistant to Edwin Hubble, and he worked as his assistant. He started his career with a loader who used to load the telescope parts on the mule and take to the height of the Royal Astronomical Observatory. And later on, he contributed for the famous Hubble formula and for the expansion of the universe. And Elon Musk, you are very familiar. So these are two extreme personalities. I myself was also in your situation about 5 decades ago, fondling with the career opportunities which settled me down as a teacher, starting with a school level to the intermediate and later on to be with the students of graduate, postgraduate and doctoral levels as well. While doing so, I was constantly watchful for the opportunities which would consistently upgrade myself and interact with the national and international institutes like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune, National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research, Goa, Indian Space Research Organization, Department of Science and Technology, and American Association for Variable Star Observers. And through my efforts, I could establish a small telescope observatory and a microwave observatory at my own college. In this small telescope observatory, I could establish a 12-inch diameter telescope on the terrace of my college, and we had several astronomical observations. With very meager facilities and several constraints, we would participate in an international observing campaign supported by AAVSO and the Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica as well.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. So we'll just come back to you just in a few minutes, sir. Thank you. All right. So thank you so much for gracing up with your time and time here. All right. So Ms. Archana, I would like to shift this towards you. Please take over. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session on planet Mars. We are going to talk about Mars. We are going to talk about some striking similarities and differences. So, yes, here we are. You know, we all are staying on planet Earth. That means we are babies of Earth. That means we are the Earthlings. Okay. So when we are doing all these things, why can't we become interplanetary species? How about that? Would you like to travel to different planets? Would you like to visit different planets? Would you like to be called yourself as, babies of Mars or babies of Jupiter, babies of Venus? Of course, we would like it, we would love to go to different planets, and we would love to visit different planets and even colonize these planets. Humankind is dreaming about all these things. So let me tell you that Mars is a very, very good candidate when we think about interplanetary, journey. So, because let me tell you that it is very, very easy. We can just put on a suit and we can wear a winter jacket and we can, start our journey with Mars. So, how many of you want to become a Martian? I would definitely like to become a Martian. But then the question is, why Mars? Why do we want to go to Mars? Well, we have different neighbors. We are on planet Earth, and we have neighbors on our one side and on the another side also. Venus is the nearest neighbor, and it is good in size. But the issues with Venus are it has got active volcanoes. Very, very important. It has active volcanoes. Greenhouse warming is still happening there on Venus. And that makes the atmosphere very, very poisonous. Oh, well, we have other neighbors also. Let us look at the second nearest neighbor, and that is Mars, one of my favorites. Early in geologic times, Mars was warm and wet. Today, it is cold and dry for a reason, because there are, in geologic times, there were volcanic eruptions happening, there was greenhouse warming happening, but today it is not there, and hence it is cold and dry. Our recent robotic missions have already shown us the surface of Mars. So let me quickly take you to the surface of Mars. And here we are. So how do you find the surface? How is it? Okay. I'll ask you a few questions. See what you can think about them. Okay. Do you find anything that is green, or do you find plants on the surface of Mars? This is your surface of Mars. This is the surface of Mars I'm showing you. Yes? Do you find any plants over there? Thumbs down. I cannot find any plants on the surface of the Mars. Okay, let us find some other things like, can we find animals on Mars? Are there animals on Mars? Even a small ant would be very, very helpful. If we find even a small ant, it would be really, really helpful. So, do we find animals on Mars? Of course not. I am not able to find any of the animals on Mars. All right. Plants are not there. Animals are not there. Let us look out for at least some rivers or water. Do we find water on Mars? Do you find the soil being wet anywhere? Is the soil wet anywhere? Do we find? Let me take around. Let me take you all around to Mars. Do you find? The soil is not at all wet anywhere. That means we even don't have water on Mars. Okay, are there buildings on Mars like we have here on the surface of the Earth? We have huge buildings standing on the surface of the Earth. Do you find any buildings on Mars? No, even we don't have any kind of buildings on Mars. That means Mars is uncivilized. Okay, then what do you think? Okay, then there are some, these are the differences, but there are some striking similarities as well. And these striking similarities, for these striking similarities, let me quickly take you to, yes, to the, yes. So let me quickly take you to the land. how is the land now? We have seen that, because of these differences and similarities, we are really, really excited about Mars. Now, what are these differences? And we have already seen the differences, but what are the similarities? Come along, I will tell you the similarities as well. Well, first thing is, let us look at the size of Mars. The land area of Mars is similar to that of our Earth. On Earth, we have 25% of land. But on Mars, it is 100%. We have 100% of land available
70%.
for colonization and for the use. Lovely. That's really, really cool, isn't it? Okay. And another thing is that, for living, we would need the day and night cycle as well. So what do you think? How long is a day and you're on Mars? Let us go and explore. So here we are. You can see that Mars rotates on its axis, and the day, one Earth day, like here on Earth, we call it as one Earth day. But on Mars, it is called as Sol. Now, this rotation on Earth takes 24 hours to rotate around itself. But let me tell you, Mars takes 1 day and 37 minutes extra. These 37 minutes are extra that Mars takes to rotate on its own axis. That means you have some extra time to sleep as well. Those who are the sleeping babies around, you have this extra time to sleep. Oh, I would love to sleep for that extra 40 minutes. Cool. Now, what about the revolution? Well, Mars also revolves around the sun, and it orbits around the sun, and it takes 687 days to revolve, to complete its one orbital revolution around the sun. As you can see, the poles of Mars, they are capped with ice. If you can see, these poles are seen. Sometimes you can see the North Pole, sometimes you can see the South Pole. These help us to form the season cycle that is similar to the Earth. And this happens because of the tilt that Mars has. These polar ice caps, they are made up of dry ice. To understand why, let us explore the atmosphere now. Well, here you can see the atmosphere of the Mars contains 96% of carbon dioxide. So it is 0.6% of the atmosphere that we find on the Earth. The atmosphere is really, really thin. And even if we had pure oxygen, we would not have been able to breathe on Mars. You know why? Because our lungs, the air sacs in our lungs, they need certain pressure. And because this pressure is not there, our air sacs would rupture. And that is the reason we need pressurized spacesuit, and we need to carry oxygen cylinders if we want to colonize Mars, or if we want to send manned mission to Mars. Well, what would happen if we put a glass of water on the surface of Mars? It is going to evaporate. And this oxygen is not going to stay in the atmosphere. It is going to escape. It is going to vanish in the space. Now, why does this happen? What is the reason? Why is the atmosphere of Mars really, really thin, so thin? Well, it is because it has significantly low gravity. And how low is the gravity? Well, the gravity of Mars is 30% of the Earth. By that, I mean to say that if you weigh 100 kilograms on Earth, you would weigh 38 kilograms on Mars. And due to this, Mars has lost its atmosphere that it had before.
What are you saying?
It is due to the solar wind, and it is due to this gravity that Mars does not have the necessary atmosphere today. Well, thin atmosphere, low pressure, low gravity, all these three, they lead to low temperature. This low temperature is again a striking difference. Now, how low do you think the temperature is? Well, during the daytimes, it is 0 degrees Celsius, and during the night times, it is minus 140 degrees Celsius. Mars does not have liquid iron core to drive the magnetic field. It does not retain heat for very long. And due to this, the radiation penetrates. Sun is constantly puking out radiations at Mars, and these radiations are penetrating. These radiations are there on the surface of Mars. Do you think, it has got these brutal solar winds, the dust devils, there is no global magnetic field, and at the top of all, there are these deadly radiations. So with all these things, do you think we can make Mars habitable again? Do you think we can attempt to restore the atmosphere on Mars? Well, for all these things that we have known about Mars, now the question is, how did we know all these things? Well, this is because we have sent many robotic explorations to Mars. And these explorations have helped us to understand about the surface of Mars. To save the rocket fuel, the spacecraft is allowed to post and take the advantage of the two planets' orbit. This is called as Hohmann transfer, and this transfer occurs when the arrival and launch points are placed on the opposite sides of the sun. With the planets in this position, the travel trajectory between them is an ellipse, and this helps us in our explorations. Well, now again, another thing is, now that we can go to Mars, but what about, we have sent robots to Mars, but how about landing on Mars? Well, landing again, scientists say that getting to Mars is, hard, but landing on Mars is even harder. The atmosphere is not stable at all. There are seasonal storms, there are dust devils, there are these lateral winds which are attacking our rovers and which will be attacking our astronauts as well if we send manned missions to Mars tomorrow. So should we land on Mars or should we not land on Mars? Because of this tough terrain and the slopes and these rocky mountains, again, these all are making our, these all are trying to shatter our dreams of reaching Mars. Well, this Mars landing is called as a 7 minutes of terror, which is actually referred to the entry, descent, and landing phase of the rover. Once landed, it still looks like, we need to take the advantage of this landing and try to search for life on Mars. Interesting, isn't it? We would definitely love to go and find some life on Mars because we have seen that it is a desert-like planet with no animals, no plants. How about growing plants on Mars? How about having animals on Mars? Well, we would love all these things. And let me tell you, it is very, very interesting that Mars has ancient river channels, it has canyons, it has smooth river beds that are caused by water erosion. There is this largest volcano called as Olympus Mons. This indicates that in ancient days, Mars was an habitable planet. We need more evidences. We need to explore. We need to find out, can we make it habitable again? Well, we can surely do that. If we are up for this challenge, we can change a lot of things here on Earth too. If we succeed in colonizing Mars, if we succeed in sending these manned missions to Mars, we would change. We would bring out a change on our planet Earth as well. We can address the issues of global warming. We would be able to address the issues of water crisis. We would be able to address the issues of environment. And Mars exploration brings a lot of good for all of us. Of course, it is going to bring good for us. And we still dream about colonizing Mars. In spite of all these striking differences, we are positive and we are looking at the positive side of Mars, the similarities that we have with Mars, and we want to explore Mars today. So let's go and explore Mars. Are you ready? Are you coming with me? Lovely, great. Let us go ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Vikram now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, and absolutely wonderful. All right, thank you, everyone. Just now, I'm going to take over from Archana, ma'am, and we're going to discuss a little bit more. All right, so just give me a few seconds, and we'll start that. Okay, so after understanding about the planet Mars, how it is, right? So we come to the point where we want to talk about colonizing the planet Mars. We understand how the atmospheric conditions are now. We understand what is the surface structure like. We understand what the temperature looks like, right? So to deal with all of these challenges, we'll have to come up with the solutions. To understand the energy, we'll have to build the solar panels. To protect us from the solar storms, we need to figure out a solution. If we are staying there for 6 to 7 months, right, we are going to stay there for a long time. So we go here, it will take 8 to 9 months, stay there for 6, 7 months. We're going to come back, it will take 8 to 9 months, right? So this is going to be around 2-year journey. So we need to figure out about the food also. So we can't take the regular food that we eat. So we need to take space food with us. So if we take a space food that will help us survive, we need to also figure out how we grow the food on the planet Mars. How do we provide the water there? How do we protect ourselves from the intense amount of radiation that are present? Because as we learned, it does not have magnetic field. So when we come up with all these solutions, we have to connect all these solutions together to make the Mars colonization even possible. So there are some of the plans that we've been seeing constantly, right? The designs coming into play that how do we do that? There are some missions that we have planned, like interplanetary missions, and the steps that we're going to create the planet Mars base. So we'll have houses ready first, even before first human puts the step there. So this is how we are actually planning to explore planet Mars further. We'll also have to figure out how we're going to do inland travel on the planet Mars surface. Now, all of these things seems a lot more easy, but they are not. Actually, colonizing Mars is going to be very difficult. Think for a minute. Just imagine how the surface is like, right? There's no liquid water. There's no significant atmosphere that could help human beings. There is no oxygen that we can, or air that we can breathe in. There's no soil that we can grow the plants. All the essential commodities for humankind are not present there. That's how high level innovation that we have to do. And how do we start this innovation? And why this planet Mars? Why are we doing this? So what we started is, innovation starts first by understanding a challenge. So what we have done as of now, we have understood what exactly challenge is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this over again to solve these challenges together. Okay, so let me say this by thank you everyone for joining and being here, and thank you Kutarika sir also being here. So I would like to request Kutarika sir, if you have some last advice for some student to give, and then we'll go to the closure part of the session. Sir, if you have some advice to give to our student, if they want to pursue dream into the astronomy, if you'd like to share in some words, that would be great. Sir, if you can copy. But if they want to be an astronomer, what would the advice you would give? If you can share them in few words, that would be amazing, sir.
I should say that the generation of these budding planetary and space citizens of tomorrow, they are really very lucky students to have this type of atmosphere while they are undergoing their studies and all that. But one thing I would like to tell them that they are bound to face a race while undertaking their projects and later on working with the space and all that. But these small projects may be in the form of developing a small cubic light sail satellite or a rocket or a reusable space shuttle or the orbiting or landing modules for Moon or Mars, whatever it may be. But while participating in this race, they also have to be aware of the concept of one world beyond the territorial boundaries of the countries and the continents. And they will have to, therefore, they will have to adopt this concept of the planetary and space citizenship. Our attempts to create several world-class scientific laboratories and observatories like LHC, that is Large Hadrogen Collider, then International Space Stations, LIGO, that is Lesser Interferometer for Gravity Wave Observations, then 30-meter telescope, square kilometer array. All these are multidisciplinary and multinational observatories and institutes which are milestones on their path. And one thing is sure, that if you participate this race by competing with oneself rather than competing with others, you are bound to attain a sustainable and peaceful progress. I am also sure that thinking in a rational and different way leads to find multiple solutions of the same problem, and then you could choose the best one. I am also thankful to the organizers for making me a part of this virtual mass colonization project. And with this, I wish you all the best for becoming planetary and space citizens of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And sir, amazingly was said, right? So it's also about, competing with our own self than competing with the world. Very nice note to close at. So thank you, everyone. And one more very important thing that I would like to emphasize on. So we at Nawaz, we are coming up with very interesting videos and the programs and all of that you can see. But for that, what you can do is right now, please go and subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel right now. So you will, once we put up such an amazing, we're going to have few more guests, we're going to do few more amazing things, we're going to create few more records, and we're going to keep innovating, right? So we have to keep people aware of all of the things that we are doing. So please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. So, it's been a pleasure to host all of you, and hopefully we'll see you soon again. Till that time, keep dreaming, and rest of you, I'll see you at 11. So keep dreaming about it. keep dreaming about the planet Mars, and let's come together for one goal together by competing with self, as Sir said, not competing with the rest of the world. So thank you everyone so much, and thank you, sir. Thank you to be here to talk us with today. Thank you so much. So we'll see you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.